Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Well, hello, and just know, okay, this episode is kind of about men again, dating nightmares again. And it's something that I kind of noticed throughout dating and everything, especially with my ex-boyfriend and other ex-boyfriends and things, but also while watching Divorce Court and hearing men talk about how women don't give them enough bedroom attention and how they require that if they expect the woman to get more out of them. But then at the end of this Jimmy Kimmel clip, I think it proves why women are so exhausted, why there's so much on their plate, why there's so much expectations placed on the woman but never the man. How when the man takes the kids to the park, people applaud him. When the dad has father-daughter day or and like just taking them to a theme park or whatever, they're applauded and celebrated. But when the mom does it, it's because she has to. When the father goes grocery shopping, he's applauded. But when the woman does it, that's what she's supposed to do. That's what a lot of men think. That's what the stress and the stuff that they place on women. But this game that he played just showed how much a lot of men don't pay attention or listen, or they literally force that type of stress and obligation on the woman to the point where maybe that's why some of you men aren't getting any. Some of you guys end up cheating on the woman, but the reason why she's so stressed and she's not giving you the hanky panky and everything that you want or demand is because she's trying to keep the house afloat. She's trying to keep everyone in, like all of the members of the family, mentally stable and happy and loved and cherished. And so, with a lot of men who I've, like, even within my family, I've watched and noticed with some of my family members, and also watching some of the reality TV and things like that. It's just, but okay, anyways, just know that the game is the father's on one mic, kids are on another mic, and you think that the questions that the co host is asking the fathers will be able to know in a heartbeat because some of these questions are the middle name, their birth date, their kids' best friends or friends, the teachers' names, what instruments did they play, etc., etc. But guess how many fathers got the answers right? Zero. Zero. I thought he had it. Because I'm like, this is such an easy question. It's like, when is you created this life? You created this life. You should be able to answer when your child's birthday is. Because even with my ex's daughters, I remember their birthdays. Well, the youngest one I try to forget because I'm just like, yeah, if you don't know, catch up. There are a lot of when she literally kicks me and puts bruises on me and tells me she hates me, and her mother tells her that whenever I cook, I'm trying to end up like the queen in Snow White, and so she better not eat my cooking and stuff like that. Yeah, let's just say a lot happened. So I know what her astrology sign is and the month and everything, but yeah, no. The oldest daughter, yes, Isaac, because actually, you know what? No one's ever gonna find out who she is. So yeah, it's like hers is normally before Easter and everything like that. So I'm not gonna say the exact date, but yeah, she is amazing and she will always have a part of my heart and I love and adore her. But the thing is, I have no obligation to remember their birthdays. None whatsoever. And just when the host is asking this man, the father, the actual father, when his daughter's birthday is, I am just, yeah, shocked and amazed and a little bothered. But okay, because then there was another like father who, oh, a couple times he asked parents, who are your child's best friends? And then they even went back. They're like, you know what? Not even the best friends. Can you name some of their friends? And they couldn't do that. It's like one father was like, oh yeah, I can, like, he was like, no, I don't know the best friends. Oh yeah, I can name some of their friends. And then he was like, no, I can't even do that. And then they were like, can you name their doctor? Can't name the doctor. Can you name one of their school teachers? Couldn't name the school teacher. What instruments did the kids play? The father didn't know which. Oh, he said none. Yeah, I think he started out with none. And the sons looked at their dad like, hold up, wait. Because, okay. I really got to get into this one. One of the sons plays both the piano and the drums. Piano and the drums. These are big instruments. And how do you practice at home without the father not noticing? Does he work that much? Is he not at home that much? Has he never been to the band concerts or like recitals or anything? How does the father not know that not only does his child play an instrument, but such large instruments and drums and piano, or at least drums or piano. And then the other son plays ukulele, a beautiful instrument. It's like, I was like, I know one of my old friends plays one, and oh my gosh, like it is absolutely like just pure, like, like vocal gold to me. It was like so beautiful. And I'm just like, so your dad's never sat around with you while you played? Never, got to hear that you're doing a great job, or it's sounding better, or just, I mean, you stayed on beat this time, or it wasn't as pitchy or anything like that, or even when you have to tune it. I don't know. It's just, I, like with that question, that really just kind of like hit hard because it's like, I know, like bass clarinet. Isn't that right? Yeah, it's like I remember I remember I've been to concerts, and even when she's practicing and I would listen, and even it's like I played violin, so we would be on two different clefs with of the music and everything, but I learned, like, because of her, like while I was even at work and stuff, sometimes I would study and look at the comparisons so then I would be able to read her music too. And so when she's practicing, I would be able to read which one she's doing, or and make and see, like, okay, if she's offbeat and things like that. But I don't know. That just, I think that one question kind of hit hard because I know with some parents, and I'm not saying my parents are perfect, because remember, I wanted to be an author. I am now an author, but years ago, I was like, my mom told me she would throw me out the house. And both parents told me I better not major in English, even though that's something I have a passion for. I love and adore. And even just with texting, I just texted a friend about an hour ago, and he wrote to me saying, "You are so beautiful with words," or you're so. It's like, how do you write so eloquently and things like that? And it's like hearing things like that. Yeah, it's amazing. It's wonderful. And I love it. But sometimes I wonder, do parents, but I'm concentrating on the fathers this time, how much focus do fathers have with their children's passions? Because I know how some parents say that that doesn't make any money. But instead, they should see, what is your child so passionate about? What is a talent that they exceed in and that they just love and adore? Because you can turn almost anything into money. Look at what the Kardashians ended up doing. And there's so many, like, I mean, some of them have the rich parent privilege and things like that. But if you are creative, and or even if it can be a side business until you are able to quit your job to do it full time. But yeah, I just wish more parents paid attention, or they didn't have a gatekeeper at the career of possibilities, and or pay attention so that later in life when your child says this is what they want to do, don't say, I've never heard you do this, I've never heard you do that, I don't think you're that interested in this. Did you pay attention? Did you concentrate, and did you talk to your child? Did you spend time with your child? Because, like I said, that dad said the kids play no instruments. And then you've got drums, you got piano, and you got the ukulele. And so that, okay. And then with the best friends. So if your kid goes to a sleepover, do you know the parents? Because if you don't know the kids, I'm going to wonder if you know the parents. And if you don't know the kids, how do you know if those kids are a good influence on your children? And how do you know if your child is being bullied or the bully? Because if you sometimes once you get to know who the friends are, you kind of know which side your child is leaning towards. Because yes, like even with my ex's daughters, like I paid attention to that. And sometimes I would even have to tell my ex when I noticed something, like I'm not gonna say, but yeah, sometimes you have to pay attention and listen to them. Sometimes they are saying things, sometimes they are saying stories, sometimes they're asking questions because they want you in return to ask more questions, or just sit down and relate. Not sit at the video game or on a Steam, like PC Mastermind or whatever, playing on Steam all day and all night while your child hinted issues that might be going on at school, or issues with friends or so called friends or frenemies. Okay, so with one of the fathers, the question was, what year was each of your children born? And there's three kids. And he answered the question, but the kids were like shaking their head, like, nah, no, no, that ain't it. No, mm-mm. Even the youngest one, he was looking at his dad like, all right. And okay, so dads, okay, let's start off with the date, the month, and the day. Okay, and then let's go back to the years because that's kind of important, because you're going to need to know when your child starts learning to drive, and then also when they turn into an adult, and if they start, having alcoholic beverages, you like, because if they try to get that fake ID, yeah, I never had one, but I know some people who, yeah, yeah, it's like I didn't mean to know them, but next thing I know, at college, they were bragging about it, showing it off, and I'm looking at them like, well, I know I'm never gonna hang out with you. And yeah, it's like I know one of them, I think they got caught. Yeah, and then they had to go tell their parents. Yeah. Anyway, anyway, but yeah, know what year your child was born. Okay, so baby steps, month and day, and then year. And it was really crazy because with the episode, this is when they pulled the mom up and they asked her, she pointed at each son, this year, that year, this year, and each son nodded. And I guess since a woman would remember since all that screaming and everything, to deliver, and But at the same time, dads, remember when you made these children? And also, especially if you're so pro life and everything, know the year that you made the life. Okay. So if you try to have an excuse of that's my wife's job, no, you took part in that. You made that. So remember when you made them. Okay. Because maybe if you remember their birth date and birth year, you know, the child will feel like, okay, you do know me. You do remember me. You do know of my existence. So why don't we do that? Why don't we start there? Because it was just crazy. Because each question, even with the best friend question, the mom was like, oh, the best friends? Oh, yeah. And you could just watch her, like she was looking at each child and kind of moving her hand so that like she knew which friend went with which child. And the husband couldn't even think of one friend, not even one, not even one. That is absolutely terrible, awful, and just demeaning. It's like, guys, how much or how little do you think of your wife if you're going to put all of that information on her? And I hope this teaches men how much they place on their wives and maybe even appreciate them a little bit more, and or be a little bit more patient when she says she's not in the mood, because maybe she's not in the mood because you're placing so much stress and so much on her to the point where she's exhausted mentally and physically. Mentally and physically. I know I'm not a mom and or parent or anything like that. I have only been a honorary stepmom, and with a lot of the kids I could still answer quite a few of those questions. Yeah. Even though I have never been required to or obligated to, but I wanted to, because I wanted that child to know and realize that I am glad they exist and I love them and adore them and appreciate them, and or I at least want to be able to be a part of their life even if they hated me. You hear that? The youngest of the Scorpio. Yeah. I know she'll never hear this episode, but yeah. All of the times I was the reason why she was able to have food to pack in her lunch, why she was able to see her father on weekends, why she was able to go see her grandmother, why, yeah, I could go on, but I'll stop there. But a lot of men place so much expectations on women who aren't even the mothers. And with some of their teachers, I still remember a couple of their names. I helped with homework and projects. One reason because my ex bragged that he never had to celebrate African American Month. And I wanted different for my honorary stepdaughter. I wanted her to be able to embrace and look at other nationalities and cultures, and not end up like a no good racist bigot like her grandmother. That's in my opinion. That's in my opinion. But that's the same woman who said I only got into college because I'm black. Yeah. Anyway, so here are some just points that I would go over that maybe could help some of these fathers straighten up and get their act right. Because one, put reminders in your phone of your kids' birthdays, and even put a 2 or 3 month reminder on your kids' birthdays until you remember it by heart, and even put the year. Because when they're either quinceañera or sweet 16, when they turn 18, or even when they turn 12 or 13, Teenage years are important years. Teenage years are important years, so maybe pay attention more to them, especially the like all the years, but teenage years is when they are in the middle of childhood and adulthood and they're confused. So if you can pay attention to what instruments they're playing, who their friends are, because who their friends are really helps out with who they become. Are they going to be bullied or be the bully or defend the bully? Or defend the person being bullied. Yeah, not, don't defend the bully. Yeah, no, no, don't do that. Okay. And don't be like, also know what their favorite colors are. Because, okay, I'm going to ask some questions. And it's like, if the mom is in one room, okay, send this or write these questions down and ask the baby daddy, your husband, your boyfriend, ask him to answer these about each one of the kids. Okay, I don't know how many, so your kid or kids. One, you already know the question. When or what? Yeah, when is your child's birthday? Day, month, year. Yeah. And then we are going to go with, what is your child's astrological sign? And I know some religious people don't pay attention to that, but you know what? Bonus points, bonus points. And so then we're going to say, what are your children's middle names? Mm-hmm. And what was your child's first word or words? Yeah, I was words, so you never know. What is your child's teacher's name? And if they're in middle school or high school, name one. What is your child's best friend or even a friend? What are your child's hobbies? Name three. And what instrument, if they play one, or if they're in theater, what parts did they play or what reenactments? What play? Yeah, it's like, because, yeah, with almost any hobby, there is something that, like, because even on soccer and basketball, like, what position does your child play? Mm-hmm. Or name one team they had to play against. Or what's your child's school mascot? Okay, because, oh, if they know that one, I'll be a little impressed, but yeah. What did your child say they want to be when they grow up? Yeah. If they can answer at least half of those, that's a good start. Oh, what's your child's favorite TV show? Or video game, or toy, or what? Just the list goes on. But how much do you really know about your child? Because once your child becomes an adult, you don't want your child being part of the gray sheep society, thinking that they were not loved enough, appreciated enough, or loved enough, thinking that they always stood out or they never fit in or met your expectations, to the point where you didn't really know anything about your child, to the point where how can you bond and spend time when the father, the leader of the family, doesn't even know who you are? They know who you are as a body, but they don't know who you are as your personality and the things that make you you. So, dads, please try to pay a little bit more attention, more than a little, even if you need a notebook for each one. Yes, it's corny at first, but you got to do what you got to do. And one thing I've noticed also, women, when they talk on divorce court, and they talk, because a lot of them talk about these issues and how a lot of the men don't pay attention to all of these details, and or they don't cook and clean. But then with the kids, it's like soccer practice and just, or after school activities, band, and just rehearsals for theater, and getting ready for the birthday parties. Sometimes the fathers are like, oh, you got that, you handle that. But then the fathers or the baby daddies on divorce court, A lot of times when they're caught cheating or when they just go out and leave them for another woman, they say it's because they don't get enough bedroom attention. But maybe they don't get the bedroom attention that they want because there's so much on the woman's shoulders. Maybe she already has to take care of the birthday parties and all the after school activities and the snacks and the lunches and the laundry and anything and everything that will make sure that that house stays afloat. That is stressful enough. That is stressful enough. So, men, maybe if you took the time and you were a true partner and you collaborated and made sure to feel like a teammate and not just a boss and not just have a power trip, maybe you would get what you want in the bedroom. I'm not saying you will, I'm saying maybe. I'm not saying it's for sure, I'm saying it's a probability. So maybe, maybe take the time to know your children. Take the time to be a parent, because sometimes it's really crazy how the fathers again get all of the credit when they do the grocery shopping or when they go and do the after school activities or take them to the park or whatever. Everyone always puts that on the mom when the father helped make them. He is a part of the equation. If you are pro life, be pro life of I care about my child to the point where I want to know them. Making them and knowing them are two different things. Making them and knowing them are two different things. And wouldn't you want to know your child? And if the answer is no, then that says a lot about you. And maybe that's one reason why your wife, baby mom, or girlfriend, whatever, doesn't care to get to know you better in the bedroom. That's right. Maybe that's why she doesn't want to get to know you in that way anymore. Because she wants to make sure that doesn't happen again, too. So, thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.